Hey guys, what's happening? It's Pete from Mini Warzone here, and I'm here to tell you some of the things you will need in order to start modelling. Perhaps you've bought yourself a box of Space Marines or some other model that you want to start, and it's your first time you've attempted doing this, and you don't have any clue as what you need, some of the things you need. Okay, well I'm here to tell you. This is a tutorial on what you need before you start assembling, so I'm going to be talking about plastic, fine cast and metal miniatures. So this is some of the things you'll need to encompass all those three. So plastic, as you see here, plastic models. Metal only have the one, which is Sisters of Battle, Adeptus Sororitas, because they come in metal. And fine cast, you can do from the middle packs like this. They feel like plastic, they feel like soft plastic, like a resin, but they're very different, which I'll talk about momentarily. Right, so some of the things you will need. First and foremost, you will need a space in which to model. Okay, now by that I mean like a work area or a clear table or something, and you'll need something to model on. First thing, you need a cutting mat of some sort, whether that is something like I've got here. I'll just show you. This here is glass plate, which is used for painting as well. Or one of these things here, like you get ones like this. It's just so that when you're modelling and cutting knife slips, it goes into this rather than your kitchen table. Failing that, you could use a piece of cardboard or something like, just something to model on, even if it's a open newspaper, really. Just something, not your table. You would have your table or your whatever it is you're modelling on. If you've got a room like I have, then ideal, you've got plenty of scope, but even then you need the space. Organise yourself. Right, what else do you need? You need cutters, because these things come on sprues. What's a sprue? This is a sprue. Models come in bits that you need to assemble. And you need, first of all, you need to cut them off the sprue. The sprue is the frame, the plastic frame that they are on, okay? And they are held onto that frame by little bits of plastic, okay? Well, the whole thing is plastic, you just need to cut it away from that. Okay, you will need cutters. Cutters, Games Workshop cutters, or generic cheaper ones, okay? They're all pretty good. So, you know, they got differences. These ones are sprung, they come not too far out, whereas these go right out. It's fine. I've made Airfix models with these tanks, boats, different things, and they're all pretty much the same. They've all got like if you look here, like a beveled edge on one side, okay, and it dips in the other side. That's to facilitate helping to get close to the part you want to cut off, and I'll do that later on in a different video, in order to get the best cut you can. Okay, you cut the bits off, you'll need a knife in which to clean them up a bit. The models have mould lines and little bits of plastic sticking out of them, so you'll need a knife, a hobby knife. Americans refer to them as X-Acto knives, I think, but or whatever. So Stanley Rays are good because they've got the retractable blade. I'm sure you've got one of those stashed away in a toolbox somewhere. Get some new blades for it, and you're good to go. Or you can get these cheaper ones, like more hobby knives here. £1.49 I paid for this, and it came with a load of spare blades as well, just to clean up your model with, which I'll show you at a later point. Or there's the Games Workshop one, which I like because of the handle. It's got a nice big thick handle. It's somewhere in between the Stanley knife and that one there, and I've kind of used it. It's got a nice big blade on it, although the blades do tend to break quite a lot, but that's another story. So there, that's what you need. Also, on the models themselves, not just where they're attached to the sprue, they also have mould lines in, which is the process of the manufacture of the models, and they can be quite annoying because they're not always easy to spot until you start painting them. But as soon as you put paint on, they show up really badly, so you'll need to remove those. Now, most people tend to use their hobby knife. Okay, they just turn it over to the blunt side of the blade and use that to scrape off the mould line, like, you know, just carefully like that. I can't do that because I'm quite heavy-handed. So what I use is a mold line remover made specifically for that. Okay, you just run it across. You don't have to be too fine with it. And it cleans up the model lovely. I've got a couple of these. Best tool in my toolbox for modelling, but it's an extra. It's up to you. Other thing I use to tidy up is the nail file. I'm fortunate that my wife is, as well as her normal job, she's also a nail technician, which means she's got plenty of these lying around. And if you're a woman, I'm sure you've got plenty of these yourselves. Or if you're a chap, just ask your partner or wife nicely, and she'll hopefully have these as well. 240 grit are the ones I use the most, and just to rub off the mould lines as well. That's good once you've done all the big work. What type of glues will you need? Well, for plastic models such as this, you need plastic glue. Okay. You could use super glue. In fact, I've seen some tutorials where they state they only use super glue, and I'll tell you their reasons why, and I'll tell you my reasons why not. They say they like to use super glue because of the way they bond or adhere together. Now, plastic glue, say this arm is plastic, this arm is plastic, and you want to join them together. Plastic glue welds them together so they're like one, okay? Whereas super glue just bonds them together, and they're easy to pull apart. Well, not easy to pull apart. It's a very strong join, but they're easy to pull apart. Now, what they say is, say I'm a space marine, I'm holding a gun, and you need to position the arms so he's holding the gun correctly. They say they use super glue because if they get it wrong and the pose is wrong, so it's a bit too high, they can pull off the arm and then put it back on again because it's easier. But if they use plastic glue, they can't because it's welded, it's too strong a bond. But what they're forgetting is plastic glue takes a long time to dry. It gives you a lot of wiggle time. Put the arm on, you've got several minutes in which to move the posture to the right place you want until you get it right. Right, okay, yeah, there, that's good. In fact, you can put the glue on and leave it for a minute or two, like blow on it, help it to start drying, then put it on, and it's easier. It kind of sticks better. I don't like super glue at all. I only use it if I absolutely have to. And the only time I have to is if I am building fine cast models or metal models. Well, she's metal. I haven't painted, not done any of her cloak yet. That's metal. It will need super glue because plastic glue you may as well just use water. It doesn't stick at all on those materials. Okay. But we'll come on to that in another video. Okay. What else would you need? Well, you need the glues themselves. Now, Games Workshop plastic glue would come in two different sorts: thick and thin. Now, yes, it does mean the consistency of the glue itself, and the thick glue is more like a gel, really, I would say. Thin glue is a little bit, well, thinner and easier to. It's got a lovely little nozzle on the applicator here, and it just comes out for smaller areas, which is good. But you can use other generic types, such as this Army Painter plastic glue, which I use a lot. I've got a lot of these Humbrol poly cements. That's plastic glue, same thing, but it's a lot thinner. It's it's even thinner than the Games Workshop thin plastic glue. The only thing you've got to watch with that is when you're lobbing it on, be very, very careful because it doesn't take much and it just squirts out everywhere. And before you know it, you've got a load of gluey mess everywhere. Okay, which is why I prefer to go for this. This is kind of middle of the road, this Army Painter one. It's fairly thick, not as thick as the Games Workshop one. Personally, I prefer the thick stuff because I just find it easier to use the models that way, to maneuver the arms and legs and heads and whatever. If I'm using metal, I tend to use this as well to help. This stuff called green stuff. Green stuff is called so. It's got two coloured strips there, which you cut a bit off when you roll it together, it eventually becomes green stuff, and just a tiny little ball of that, like in between the two joints of a metal model, it works wonders. And doing that, I've never had to pin one as yet, though I will at some point, I'm sure, and I'll be doing a tutorial on that too. Other stuff you can use green stuff for is to make green stuff hardens into plastic, and then you can file it down, you see. So you can make add-ons for like horns and things, and you can get these as well. All optional stuff, like moulding tools, which you can use for green stuff. When you're using green stuff, make sure you keep it very wet. That's all I'll say on that. Another video to follow on green stuff. Other optional extras: brush to brush off all the bits and pieces after you've been filing. Just brush it off. You can brush it as hard as you like. If you're using a metal model, though, you may want to use a brush with harsher bristles on. Alright, just be careful how you do it. And that's essentially all you'll need to start assembling your models. So I think we've covered everything there. Yeah, anything like extra, sometimes with these kits you get extra little bits like little grenades and swords and purity seals there. For that I would recommend using tweezers or something just to hold it on to the model while the bit dries. Other than that, you're good to go, and I'll join you in the next video, and we'll be assembling some tactical space marines, and I'll show you how to do that. I've done this video first because I'm going to assume that you already know the bits and pieces then that I'll be using, so I don't have to explain myself as I go. Okay? Right, until the next time then, this is Peter from Mini Warzone saying, happy wargaming.